Good afternoon. Yes, so I've come to talk to you a little bit about a project that I came up with. I work fairly obviously in the fire service full time, have done since 1987. And sometimes we experience some fairly nasty scenes. And I'd admired somebody called Richard Osgood and Operation Nightingale. And I'm an amateur archaeologist myself, and basically reached out to Richard. Richard put me in touch with Dickie, and I also contacted some other people, and with the idea that we could use archaeology as a way of helping people in the blue light community who are dealing with stresses of work and life. Last year, I had permission from Northamptonshire Fire and my Assistant Chief Officer, Rob Porter, to set up and run a pilot. Well, actually, it was October 22, wasn't it? And with these lovely people and their support, and Dickie, we set up and ran a fantastic event that ran for the year. We staged lots of different gave people opportunities and activities to be involved with, which took them out of their comfort zone, but in a safe environment. And also change the slide, get slicker. Sorry. You probably notice I'm not used to public speaking, but I'm better at shouting at people. So we're in year 2, just about to start next month. Is it still a slide change again? I think. And I'm petering out now, but I will hand over. Who's next? Ben? Ben's next. Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben. So I'm the curator at the Northamptonshire Archaeological Resource Centre, which is the county's archaeological archive repository. And Aidan invited us to be part of the project. So we kind of all agreed that archives are often forgotten on projects like this. So we wanted to kind of embed archaeological archives within the project and give the participants an opportunity to handle lots and lots of archaeological material. So at the very when we initiated it, our site and Stanwick Lakes, where Nadia works, they're only about 4 or 5 miles away from each other along the same stretch of the River Nen, and you can walk between the two. So we decided to do a walk-in tour around Stanwick Lakes, then went across the Nen Valley, stopped at Greg's at Rushden Lakes, and then went on to where I work at Chester House Estate and the Northants Ark. And through that, we did a search of the historic environment record and was pointing out all of the different sites so that the participants would kind of get an understanding of the historic landscape that they're working in. And then we decided to do some archive sessions. So we had 2 sessions a month for 5 months. And that included sessions on working with Roman pottery. And we had the Roman pottery specialist from Mola come in and give an in-kind contribution of providing training of like kind of basics of dating and determining form of pots. We did a session, which was probably the most successful session we did in the Ark, which was we have a project with our volunteers assessing all of our human remains, determining the age, the sex, the height, any pathologies. And we got the folks from the fire service to work with our volunteers on that project. And by the end of the day, they could do the bits of like aging and determining the height. And that was the day they got loads out of, because when Sarah will come onto it, we're excavating a Roman cemetery. So we thought it was useful to give this in advance. We also did an introduction with the Portable Antiquities Scheme. So if they ever found anything, because the hope was that this would kind of inspire them to go on and do other research. So our Finds Liaison Officer, Ellie, she came and did a session. And then also Charlotte, our Historic Environment Record Officer, she did a whole session on HERs, what they are, and we did the classic thing that people do with HERs is find your house and what's underneath it. And one of them, the field that he was opposite his house as he was growing up, that now has a McDonald's on it, had a 9H farmstead, and it completely kind of changed his understanding of where he actually lived, which was really, really nice. So that was my little bit. On to Nadia.
Thank you. Which button do I press? There we go. I'm Nadia. I'm a heritage coordinator at Stanwick Lakes. We are in a unique position at Stanwick Lakes because although we are also a nature reserve and a very popular family attraction, we also have 5,000 years of heritage on site. And we were in a very opportunistic position to be able to work with Operation Phoenix alongside our own heritage projects that we already had going on. So it was for us a real hands-on opportunity for them to, very much like the archives at the Arc, is to not just learn about it through listening to people, but to actually craft things and be a part of our projects. So as Ben mentioned, we started off with an area walk, trying to get an understanding of the landscape archaeology and the heritage of the site. And then also moved on to them being very, very helpful in helping us achieve some of our own project aims, outdoor activities to create some of these legacy builds that we are currently doing. I think it was very popular, but certainly from the comments that came back from the participants, to be able to learn traditional tools and building techniques. We had a wonderful season with fantastic weather at the Roundhouse, doing the willow weave hurdles for the walls and the daubing. Although I think by the end of daubing, everyone had had enough of that activity. It's all right for a day, but when that drags on to a few weeks, it gets a bit much. And with our experimental and our experiential builds, we are 2 years into a project to create some Bronze Age logboats using only bronze tools, and the Operation Phoenix team and the guys and girls that were on that team were absolutely key for us to hit some of their milestones. And again, being able to involve them with our volunteers, our heritage volunteers, to work alongside and together was a really good opportunity to skill share those traditional craft skills. We also were able to offer them a traditional crafts day in the form of a blacksmithing course, which was very popular and enjoyed by all. And some of the comments that really stuck out for us in the first round of the feedback, gaining a real sense of achievement and being able to see a project through from beginning to end. Found myself lost in the work and taught myself perseverance. A really satisfying day, enjoying the tools and the progress that was made, and the learning of new skills, giving people the ability to have some time to themselves. And I think as part of this project and what we're hoping to continue going forward on our offer from Stanwick Lakes is that green space, that nature, that being outside, and the opportunity for them to delve into some of the projects that we continue to do today.
Thank you. I'm Sarah Scott from the University of Leicester. So the University of Leicester is working in partnership with Northamptonshire Council with a particular focus on the Chester House estate. So we're running a collaborative excavation at Chester Field School. Before I talk about just a little bit about that, I just want to say that, and I think Aidan might have skipped the fact that he's actually a really experienced archaeologist. And actually, but the reason this whole project started, I think we bumped into each other accidentally. It was some kind of accidental. But actually, he worked with Earthenborough Archaeological Society, so kind of leading all kinds of activities. And actually, what he came to us with was a really holistic and to be honest, vision. It was visionary, actually, idea for what might be achieved, and already had in his mind, because he really living in the area, knew obviously all of the amazing things that were happening at Stanwick Lakes and at Chester House. So that was all a lot of that was fully formed. So our job was really just to work out how we could help to make that happen. With a project like this, there are lots of moving parts that these kinds of projects need agreements in place, and that was something that was important to the fire service. And so one of the things universities can really help with in these kind of projects is putting those things in place, putting in place the kind of ethics approvals. And we're working really closely with Dickie, who's I think speaking tomorrow, but to put together the kind of research project as well. So the evaluation and ethics, but also really helping and supporting with thinking about how we could embed and ensure the sustainability of this project, because it's so important, I think, with this kind of initiative. What if someone, really develops a passion? How are you going to be able to get someone to continue that? I think, there's an ethical kind of moral responsibility to really think about that before you initiate these kinds of interventions. And I think because of our existing kind of collaborative approach, so we're already working together on other projects, and we're able to think really holistically about how we might embed Operation Phoenix and Aidan's vision within the things that we're doing. And I think that is what we're working on now. We want to become business as usual, thinking really creatively about how we can do that. Obviously, universities can leverage all kinds of resource, and I think that is really important. There's expertise in psychology, health sciences, which is incredibly valuable for these kinds of projects. So I think just to finish my section, one of the great things is we're running a collaborative field school at the Chester House Estate. So it's great to be able to have Aidan and the fire service team as part of our team, working alongside our students, but also volunteers. So they're very much part of the project. And the Stanwick team actually were able to come and dig on occasion as well, which is fantastic. The kind of what if, what next is also something we're able to help with. And I'm excited that Aidan is now a student at the University of Leicester. So he's able to kind of pursue his interests with us as well.
Thank you. So yeah, it works. Last year it seems to have been well received. Dickie's work with the research has shown some really positive outcomes, and I'm hoping to engage next year as well, and embed that research element going forward so that we can improve. And then my vision has always been that it's a blue light thing, not confined to Northamptonshire. So that includes, I don't know, any blue light worker who would be my vision. And how we do that, I have no idea. It's a thing of scale. And but it's been an absolute pleasure to work with these wonderful people. Thank you.